Okay, I'm Tommy Shoup, and I'm work with bonsai and plants and gardening and that sort of thing. But mainly indoor plants is what I look for, and I look for plants that need to be um, salvaged out of the garden, and I make them into bonsais. And this plant right here, I just bought from Kroger's for like $5, and it was dying, and nobody knew how to water it. And I found out that, well, I knew that you water it by putting water where the bloom is, right in the middle. And then if you'll notice real down in here, there's another plant that's in here that's growing up. You see it? And I'm going to water it too. And that's a little plant that's coming off of that plant. It's a little baby is what I call it. And then this orchid here is one that I've repotted in another pot. And what you want is, you don't want a lot of dirt in an orchid. You want mostly moss and whatnot, because an orchid grows on a tree from the rain, and it gets water from the rain. It doesn't get into the ground at all. It stays in the air all the time. And moss usually grows, follows around it and stops there. It's usually grown around the coast or in a tropical area. But the orchids are growing, and they had two sets of blooms on it, or seeds. And if you'll look real close, the blooms are right here, the little buds. Those will be blooms when these blooms fall off. Now these have already fallen, a couple of them have, off of this limb. Those were all like this limb, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more orchids will grow on this stem. And what you have to do is you have to spray it every morning with the sprayer, and you have to spray the leaves on the orchids, both sides, every morning and every evening. And I'm going to get it on this side, and I get this side too while we're at it. And you can spray them on both sides of the leaves, and some of them die from the base, but that's the way nature works. But and that's how you water and take care of bromeliads and orchids. And then the orchid is in this pot, which when the pot is overwatered, it'll gather in the tray and you get rid of the water there. And then this plant here is one the cocoa had grown from a seedling or a plant and thinned it up. And if you'll come over here and look through it, can you throw that up right in there? I'll show you what she's done. Can you see in here?
Yep.
And if you'll notice from the root, it comes up and makes a 90-degree turn, and then she's trained it to come up and around. And then this limb was up here, going straight up. And when I got here, and that's when Coco quit taking care of it about 4 or 5 years ago, and I tied it off. I put a bandage around it and then wired it up and brought it down to the base of the tree. And I didn't get it at the right amount, so I put a big rock on the wire so it put it down where I wanted it. So this limb right here was up here. And so I brought it down, and I'm going to keep it at this level. This will be the top of the tree, basically. And if I get another one like this one right here, I'll just take it off, because that's going up. I want it to go down. And so I'll trim this a little bit a little later on in the year. And then I just took out some of these mandina trees, and these were filling in to where this tree should be growing. So I cleaned it out a little bit, and I'll clean it out a little bit more a little later. And then this leaf right here will continue to grow down with in a big circle. And this will stay green all winter. And it turns real dark red in the wintertime. And then in the summertime it turns lush green. And it's real pretty. It's called lace leaf maple. And it's a Japanese tree. And then these are nandinas. Nandinas will grow year round. They turn red in the wintertime. And they'll have berries on them at Christmas and whatnot. And I'm trying to trim these down like I trimmed those down. When I first came out here about 3 months ago, these trees right here were like those trees over there. And I trimmed them down to about this far from the ground, and they've grown up that much. So I've got to trim them back again. And if you look in here, you'll find a possum I found. A real water possum here. And which is kind of interesting that they had that here and they don't have the water turned on it. They turned the water off. But we'll get that water working and it'll all be a functional garden. But all this weeds and whatnot, the ivy needs to trim back and this needs to be brought back. The fountain does work, but I took it out, turned it off so we can take the rocks out, clean it up, and put a screen up. You okay?
Yep.
You sure? You didn't hit your head, that's
No.
You alright?
Yep.
You know, that made me get an EMT when I fell like that.
Yeah, just,
But, you turned it off? It's still running.